Alright, so hey everyone. Today I want to take a look at the dead zones for Mixtape. This is being demonstrated on the Xbox Series X in case it differs on other platforms. For movement, we have a 20% radial dead zone by default. The movement dead zone is actually a hair larger than that. It seems like there's some initial friction to get going, and you might be able to notice there's a dash threshold within the dead zone, and that is aligned with 20%. So you need to move a little further to get started moving, but then you have to move under 20% to stop. But otherwise, it's very closely accurate to the option value. But we do have full diagonal movement here, so wherever you point the stick is where the character will move. So if I move right around the horizontal axis, you can see that the character flips directions. And it's a little more difficult to tell around the vertical axis because of the camera following, but that is occurring there as well. The camera is exactly the same. We have a 20% radial dead zone. With the same full diagonal movement, and that's a little easier to see here. So if I move just above the vertical axis, moving up, and below it, it's moving down. And across the horizontal axis, we can see this very clearly when capping the view like this. So we have full diagonal movement here too. This game does offer dead zone options and has a huge range, so the maximum is 95%. And we can see that those are accurate, with the same exception for movement, where you actually need to move just a hair further before movement begins. But we have the same full diagonal movement we had with the default dead zone sizes. And for the camera, exactly the same here as well. And since there's such a tight active range, it's pretty easy to see where that threshold is. But the same full diagonal movement around both axes. The minimum dead zone is 5%. And for movement, again, it's just very slightly larger than that. Get all the tracks. And the same full diagonal movement is present, and we can see that a little more clearly with the dead zone this small, where small adjustments make large angular changes. I didn't test the movement curve for this. There are a couple different scenarios, and some of them it seems like there's almost a flat movement speed, whereas in this case there is some gradient. So if I move the stick very slowly, see that slower movement, but as I move faster, the character can move faster. But that really depends on the scenario you're in. For the camera, we have a 5% radial dead zone and the same full diagonal movement we've had for the other dead zone sizes. The curve is linear, so just a smooth progression from the dead zone to full stick tilt. As far as you can see here, that my thumbstick can lean a little further in the diagonal regions, and these would be greater than 100% magnitude, and Mixtape ignores these excess values. So if your stick moves beyond what would be 100%, it just treats it as 100%. So that is ideal. That makes all of your directions the same maximum speed. And I don't know the specific implementation of the curve, but it's most likely radial, given the way this is being clamped. But for specifically linear curves, it wouldn't actually matter whether the linear curve is implemented per magnitude, as in the distance from the center, or per axis, the distance from the horizontal and vertical axis independently. So, I mean, that's about it for the dead zones. So what's here is perfectly functional. This game doesn't require much precision from the player. As you can see here, the camera control does seem to have a bit of aim smoothing. So if I switch directions, you can see there's a slight lull before it changes. So it needs some time to build up, and this can make the camera feel a little sluggish. And there are many different kind of mini games in this that have various levels of intentional sluggishness like that. So that can make the gameplay feel a little more sluggish, but maybe that's what it's going for. But for quite a few of the events, having the full diagonal movement does feel pretty good. So it is nice that the dead zones are implemented well, even if you don't actually need that level of precision for the game. But it's always nice to have, and it's good that they set up the dead zones well. So that covers things. So thanks for watching, and everyone, have a great rest of your day.